Hi guys, and welcome to my first cosplay tutorial video. With only 3 months to go until October's MCM Comic Con taking place at the Excel Centre in London, I thought I'd be proactive in getting my costume ready this time. As a huge fan of the Borderlands game series, I decided to go as Handsome Jack. I also chose Jack due to the convenience of the character. With the exception of the cel shaded look, Jack wears rather normal clothes, in comparison anyway to some of the other characters you often see at these events. I've tried to include all of the materials used and provide the links to the items in the description below. This video will focus on how I made the Handsome Jack waistcoat, however check back soon for similar videos on how to create the jacket, trousers and other accessories. First up, you're going to need a waistcoat to paint. If you haven't got an old waistcoat laying around that you no longer need, you can get them pretty cheap online. The waistcoat I'm using I got from Amazon for £5.54, the link is below in the description. I wasn't too bothered that it was black as I will be using acrylic to paint with. As I've never done anything like this before, this was more about trial and error than getting it perfect first time. Hopefully by me making these mistakes you won't have to make the same ones. First up, I did a very fast layer of acrylic paint using mainly ochre yellow with some black mixed in and a tiny bit of crimson red. As you can see, the first layer I did I mixed with water. However, I came to learn that this is not needed and would look better with no water. I painted the first layer of the waistcoat all in the same direction from top to bottom using vertical strokes. I did not bother with the back of the waistcoat as this will be concealed by the jacket. The second layer I used burnt sienna for the main part and some white for the highlights. This time when painting I went from left to right instead. This helps cover up any bits that I missed in the first layer. Once you've started building up the colour, get some of the white acrylic and put in some vertical brush strokes towards the button on both sides. This will add highlights to the waistcoat. I added the white acrylic before the burnt sienna had time to dry so that it would lighten up the sienna instead of just a white streak. Next I took some Sharpie fabric markers that I got from Staples on special offer. You can use fabric markers or you can use your brush and some black acrylic paint. The only reason I chose the markers over the paint was that I already had some and it was just easier to draw straight lines with a pen than with a brush. Using your fabric marker or brush, you will need to draw the rather thick black lines on the waistcoat. I have drawn along the seams and also around the outline of the whole thing. I decided that I need some more detail in regards to the shading. Grab some more white and also some burnt umber, which is a dark brown colour. Using a very dry brush, I started applying the burnt umber on the far left and far right side of the front of the waistcoat. This is because when the jacket is also being worn, it will obviously create a shadow in these places, and we are trying to exaggerate that. I also use this colour with a little bit of white and with a smaller brush to go over the black lines that I'd previously drawn to give them a tiny shadow. Once this has been done and has dried, you should get something that looks like this. To do this, you'll need some Eva foam. Luckily, I had some laying around from my previous Flash and Fallout cosplays. However, you can also buy these on Amazon at the link in the description. They are very cheap and the price varies depending on how many mats you buy. For this particular project, you will not even need to use a whole mat, but they can be used in future cosplays. Now you want to cut the foam into 4 equal rectangles, about 45mm by 75mm. As you can see from the video, I guessed these sizes and later had to cut down the 4 pieces as they were far too big, but that's just because I'm lazy sometimes. Now mix some black and white acrylic and start covering all 4 pieces with this going from left to right. After you have done this, add a little more black to your brush, and while the grey is still wet, paint from top to bottom on both edges of the rectangle. This will add shadows to the buckles. Once the paint is dry, take a ruler and a marker, or you can use a brush and some black acrylic, and draw 2 vertical lines on the buckles. This will further add to the cel shading effect. Add a bit of white paint to the centre square to add some highlights. Then take a bit of black and dull down some of the highlights in the middle. This next step is optional. However, I didn't feel as though the buckles really worked as well with just grey paint as the rest of the costume would. I wanted to give them a nice metallic feel, as after all they are metal. I had previously used something called Deco Art Metallic Lustre Wax Finish that I got from Hobbycraft one day. You can find it online also, and the link is in the description. Many colours are available, but I chose the Silver Spark. Grab a cloth and ball it up around your index finger and gently apply pressure to the silver in a sweeping motion until your cloth has collected a little bit of the silver wax. Now brush the buckles with the cloth. Don't worry about getting too much silver on the buckles. Try to add more on the centre square to again make this section stand out and look more 3D. Unfortunately for the next part, my camera died. However, I did capture some of it on my phone. Once you've gone over the outlines and the 2 centre lines again in black acrylic or marker, you're going to need to darken up the sides. To do this, take a dry brush and apply a little bit of black acrylic, overlapping the dark centre lines you have already drawn. Use a vertical stroke that mirrors the black centre lines. You should notice that because you're not using a lot of paint, the line is not solid. After doing the vertical strokes, do some horizontal strokes. The brush should pick up some of the black that is already on the buckle and spread this out to make this black centre line look as though it is higher up than the sides. Do this for all 4 buckles. Now that you have both the waistcoat and the buckles made, you're going to need to attach them together. To do this, I use VELCRO. I got a pack from Hobbycraft for £3, also available on their website for the same price. The link is again in the description. You're also going to need a hot glue gun. These are available as well at Hobbycraft for £5. Also, don't forget to get some glue sticks that fit also. Cut the Velcro strips to the same size as the width of the buckles. You should end up with 8 strips altogether. 4 strips of Velcro to go on the back of the buckle and 4 strips of the opposite Velcro to go on the waistcoat. Place the buckles on the waistcoat. This particular waistcoat has 5 buttons, so I missed the top button and put a buckle on each button below it. From here I cut the velcro that will be attached to the waistcoat so that the buttons can still be used. Now pin the velcro down and sew these onto the waistcoat. Finally, to stick the velcro to the back of the foam buckles I used hot glue. The first attempt I used a hot glue on the velcro and then placed this onto the foam. However, the second attempt I decided to put glue directly onto the foam and then press the velcro into it. I found that this worked better as I was able to use more glue which covered more of the velcro and made it more secure. Remember to keep pressure on the glue and don't try to use a buckle until the glue has fully dried. Once the glue has dried, you'll be able to attach and reattach the buckles easily and as many times as you want with no fear of them falling off. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out some more of my videos like the Borderlands, Portal, Zelda speed drawing on the right, or the clapped drawing below it. Find me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Snapchat and Twitter under iAmRedTed. And check back for more Handsome Jack cosplay tutorials.